My name is Samuel Larew, or Octane.
Does he get the read? Here comes Hero. 2 seconds. 2 seconds. And Octane with the ice.
I am from Chesterfield, Virginia, born and raised. I have 2 brothers. I have a little brother named Robbie, who is very much hunting, fishing, that whole Virginia thing. And then my older brother, Josh, who is much more up my alley. Video games, D&D, alt music, just very polar opposites. So I'm like a mesh in the middle somewhat. My older brother was like the main influence of me starting to play. That came maybe when I was like 8 or 9, Halo 2, Halo 1, like PS1, that kind of era. You know, I would play on my older brother's account and he would never let me play ranked because he was way better than I am. If he wanted to go pro in video games, like he very easily could have. But he never let me play ranked on Halo 2. And then one day during the summer, I went on his account without telling him, like he was out at the pool with his friends and stuff. I de-ranked him like 10 times in Team Slayer, and I f***ed up pretty bad. And I was determined to like get better to like fix it because I didn't want him to freak out. So I ended up re-ranking him up, and that was like kind of where everything started for me. That was like the improvement level. So I was like, wow, I'm kind of good at this. And then kind of just skyrocketed from there. Also almost caught my house on fire. I had a PS1 and I was playing Spyro and I didn't have a memory card, but I almost beat the game one night. I couldn't save it because no memory card. So I put a towel over it and like not thinking that like, you know, heat, leaving it on all night. I was gonna wake up in the morning before school and finish the game. And I woke up to the smell of smoke and I was like, oh, like what's going on? And then like the towel was on fire. So I had to take it to the bathroom and then obviously like, you know, put it out. And then I threw it in the garbage. My parents never knew. And I did an interview like 2 years ago and they finally knew about that. So. I was a YouTube sniper for a while. I edited. I wanted to like join FaZe and like do that whole montage thing. It was just full-blown casual thing at this point. And my friend from sniping turned into a competitive player, and they were gonna go to an event in Black Ops 2's UMG St. Louis at the peak of Farico Impact. And he wanted me to play with him, and I knew nothing. Literally, I knew like Optic existed. That was like the extent of my competitive knowledge. I went, my teammate actually couldn't go. My friend that got me on the team couldn't go because his grades ended up sucking and his parents were super strict. So we made like a last minute roster change, and I'm like, I'm just going to this thing just to go at this point. And we actually like fried. Like we were scrimming online against, you know, just like random Sean Abner, like just amateur people from Twitter. I was like frying. I was like, wow, this is kind of fun. So we ended up going to the event and we lose to Mullet Nation, which was Sharp, Nameless, Ricky, and Saints. And then I get dropped at the event. First event ever, Sunday night, I get dropped in the hotel room and I'm like, oh, well, maybe this whole competing thing isn't for me. I took a break after that because I got dropped. I was like, maybe I suck. I didn't think that like competing was like really for me at all. So I took a break, went back to the whole sniping thing, and then Ghost rolled around the next game, and I started playing again with my friend Casey, or Pander as everyone kind of knows now. And I went to 2 events in Ghosts, or 3 events, something like that. Just open bracket stuff, you know, fighting through. But again, this was like a hobby at this point for me. You know, I was like trying to scrounge up money for like team passes and jerseys and hotels and all that stuff. So it was just more of like a hobby for me at this point. It wasn't anything that I was like, oh, I'm gonna be playing COD for my job in you know, 8 years or whatever. So I went to those 3 events in Ghosts, had fun, and then I went pro in Advanced Warfare. So I guess things panned out pretty well. It's funny because my first pro team, my teammate there is my current coach, Jay Cap, and he'll tell you the same thing. I was a hard-headed, just, and it's so annoying because I could have been so much better, so much quicker, but I was so stubborn and I thought that I was like the greatest thing on planet Earth, God's gift to humanity. You know, my teammates, Looney and J-Cap, they try to tell me things and I just like, whatever, bro, like you guys are old. It was, oh, dude, I was so arrogant. My dad hated it. He always instilled going to college, get a degree, get a job for my entire life. That was all I knew growing up. At the end of Advanced Warfare is when I got 3rd at MLG Finals in New Orleans, and I won $10,000. That was my first money. And I took it home to my parents and I was like, I'm doing this, whether you're with me or you're against me, I'm doing this. And I was in college, or going into college. I think I lasted half a semester. And then I dropped out, and my dad was furious. I don't think we talked for like 2 months, 3 months or something like that. Being an esports player, you have to sacrifice everything that you care about in life. I have missed birthdays. I see my family once a year, if that, maybe. I miss holidays. If my family's over, I have to tell them, sorry, I'm scrimming. I can't eat dinner with them. Like, this is all when I was younger, obviously, but I couldn't eat dinner with my family. That was a big thing in my house. It was all in the name of like playing and getting better. And even now, like, I live across the country from my family. I'm moving further across the country from my family back home in Virginia. My girlfriend's with me now, so I have that in the back of my head. Like, I'm taking her away from her family. It's a very nomadic lifestyle, and it's very taxing on the brain. But it's worth it. Winning is a feeling that not a lot of people feel. Competing, and whether it be traditional sports, esports, whatever, it's just the feeling of like chasing victory is like the reason that anyone competes ever. If you're playing for money, you shouldn't be playing. Which again, why the lows are so low, because if you're dead last like I've been for 2 years. Anyway, those are probably the main things, just mental health and not seeing my family. I've been around the block in Call of Duty. I think I've been on 7 pro teams. Not as much as some, but a lot more than others. Yeah, I've been on pretty much every team under the sun, barring FaZe. I think FaZe is the only major org that I have not played for. So my history goes back a while. I actually thought about it the other day. I think I'm a veteran now, which is kind of gross to say out loud, because I've always not considered myself young, but that weird middle ground, but I'm 24 years old, so I guess I'm considered like a veteran of the scene now. I've been pro for like 8 years, so that's kind of disgusting. Well, as the role that I play as a main AR, it's a lot more focused on the macro gameplay, so like what my teammates are doing, big picture stuff in Respawn specifically, but just micromanaging to the best of my ability while also trying to knock it down is a very fine line. So somewhere in that gray area. I watch every one of my matches back. In terms of like scrims and VODs and stuff, I try to do as much as I can. It's a lot harder by yourself, because when you have teammates to like bounce back ideas from, it makes things a lot easier. That's what being on 100T and BO4, like that's why we were insane, just because every single time, win or lose, we watched it, and then going into matches, our prep was like unparalleled. So, VOD wins championships in my opinion. So a thing that a lot of people don't do is when you win, you understand like why you won. It's very easy to like, when you're playing, like, oh, I got a 2-piece here on the rotation, but like, there's a lot of like micro things that you may not understand that your teammates have done or you would have done to like influence things in maps. Going into matches, a lot of people have like routines and like, they won't psych themselves out, but they'll like build it up in their head. And I'm just like, I'm very nonchalant when I play. Everyone always brings it up, but I had like a 1v3 clutch against FaZe when I was on 100T and BO4. It was like the biggest moment, or one of the biggest moments of the tournament. I had like no reaction, just stoic. And that's just like how I am. I don't really listen to music to hype myself up. I'm not like sitting in my hotel room, like shadow boxing in the mirror. Like I'm just like hanging out really. I don't have any off the wall stuff. I have 7 major championship wins. I haven't had one in a little while, which is unfortunate, but hopefully that one's coming up soon. I've won pretty much every year that I've competed, barring the last 2, because we've been just absolutely miserable in every aspect of the word. But I think every year since I've gone pro, other than Advanced Warfare, I've won. I was the only player to do that, other than Slacked, which we teamed for most of those wins. And I've never been down on myself competing really. You always have to have the mindset that you're better than everyone. And like as the Modern Warfare season went on and we weren't getting results, it like started to set in a little bit. And like I said, it was a new experience for me. I've won every year up to that year, so I never had that like doubt in the back of my head of my own personal ability. And then once Modern Warfare hit, it was like full force floodgates, Hurricane Katrina, like, do I need to retire? Is it me? And Cold War, I liked my team. I really, really liked my team in Cold War, but we were playing online, and I think going from the Modern Warfare season with how poor my mental health was, even if I was performing well, the results weren't there, which is all I give a shit about. I could drop a 0.5 and we win and I'll be happy. We didn't really have any results for the entirety of the year. We were like 11th, 12th place up until we returned to LAN. And we went back to LAN and we fried. We were 11-1 in hardpoint on LAN, and we only lost to Optic. The only team we lost to was Optic on LAN in 2 Game 5s. So that like self-doubt was there the entire year. And up to the point where before we returned to LAN, Austin was on the flank the other day talking about it, but he was like, do I need to retire? Like, am I not good anymore? Like, is this a genuine thing that I need to like take a second and think about? And I was in the same boat as he. It sucks, but when you're competing, your mental health is directly correlated to whether you're doing well or not. It's just how it is. And if you're on a last place team 2 years in a row, you're gonna be in the gutter. And I can't tell you the revitalization that I felt when we went back to LAN. In the first series, I had like a 1.7, and I was like, dude, everyone. Because for a year and a half, let's call it, I was sitting in this room, or in California, just withering away, playing online. I'm like, dude, am I bad? Like, is this my time? And again, the first series back on LAN, I have 1.7. I'm thinking to myself, like, all of that self-doubt and like depression and miserable nights were like for nothing. Like, yeah, we didn't have results online, but like online Call of Duty can only get you so far. It's impossible to replicate a LAN environment when you're not at a LAN. And as soon as I stepped on, like, walked in on that Wednesday of Major 4, saw the stage for the first time, and I'm like, dude, we're back. Like, this is where I've wanted to be for, again, however long it was been. And it's just like the feeling, you get the butterflies, your stomach is a little upset. And then for me, I think the reason that I play so much better is I'm able to clear my head instantly. Like, as soon as I see that countdown on that map started, fans are gone, my teammates are the only people that I can hear, like, I'm in the game. And it's weird to say, but when I'm sitting in my office, like, I feel like it's a lot more loud. The I'm saying in my head is louder than the crowd noise was at a LAN event, which, like, it makes no sense at all. But I feel like other pros that might see this, like, can probably relate to that. So, I mean, the year ended well. We didn't get to go to champs. I really wish we did, because my team was completely different on LAN. It was one of the most ridiculous 180 turnarounds that I've ever seen in competitive Call of Duty. So I really enjoyed the end of last year. The majors were super fun. We're seeing everyone again. I haven't seen my friends in 2 years or whatever it's been. So it's been a series of ups and downs. I think I'm in a good spot now. I'm back where I want to be, and I realized that I don't suck, which is always a positive. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know in the comments if you are interested in learning anything about my current teammates. Make sure to like and subscribe for some more LA Thieves content.